didn't have much else in common, so he dragged my butt to the gym and fell in love with it. At 15 years old, I was writing workout programs for friends and family. And by college, I was the unofficial health chair of my fraternity, writing workout programs, nutrition programs, like calling everybody else to the gym, like we got to take care of ourselves. Then after I got a degree of communications, I started a supplement store. I started selling genetic tests, but it was way ahead of its time, and ended up getting drafted by a pro football team, so I dropped that to the side and played football. But long story short, in 2022, my mom had a stroke, turned dementia. Had to go and take care of her. She's still incontinent, still just having trouble eating. But that put me on the path where I'm at to understand about preventive measures, because I was around a lot of other people that were going through similar issues when I was taking her to doctor's appointments to rehab. Now she has cardiovascular issues, but there is metabolic, cancer issues, and a lot of these things can be preventive if we just take care of our bodies the right way. So I went down the rabbit hole, got certified in genetic-based program design, nutrition, strength and conditioning, personal training again, just so I could figure out how to fix the system. So I got hired by my now business partner Brett here in Denver. I realized Mom's medical bills were going to go through the roof, so I had to do something with that. Him and I both found the same contempt for health and wellness industry as it is. It just seems like it's a one size fits all, and everybody else is kind of left for crap.
Can you just dive a little bit deeper in how the genetic testing really helps with your fitness and wellness, and why it's so important to do these tests in order to figure out your body, because it's not the same as everyone else's?
So the reason genetics are so important is understanding how we're different, right? So a really good example is I'm seeing a lot of white women from Northern Europe that have a fat-burning variant called RS126789119 that's unfavorable or missing. So for these ancestors of these women, like, they needed the fat to survive the winters because they're in Northern Europe, it was cold. But nowadays, people are screaming at these people missing this fat-burning variant, hey, do cardio, do a calorie deficit. And then it's not working for them. It's because they're not doing the right workout program and nutrition program based off of that fat-burning variant, right? So instead of doing cardio, which is not going to work for them because that's genetically how their body's made, is I'm going to put them on a circuit-based training, right? Like, hey, you got some plyometrics to do. You got resistance training you need to do. These are the right macros and the right diet type based off of your body type to get the most muscle you can. You're probably not going to be like a stick model Twiggy. It's probably not in your genetic wheelhouse. But understanding how we can be healthy instead of thinking everything health related is on a scale, like the weight scale. So we use the genetic test to not only figure out the right workout for you, the right diet for you, but also the right supplementation, injury risk and prevention, cancer risk, cardiovascular risk, metabolic risk, etc. And we take blood work, movement screening, family medical history with all that data and come up with 360-degree wellness programs for people.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you have like a specific success story that you've seen in one of your clients that have just been made a dramatic difference?
Yeah, we have a client, Leslie, that's been with us for about 2 years. She was actually the first one that signed up with us. This is 2 or 3 years ago. And she had been told her entire life, hey, do this, do that. This is how you get healthy. And I told her, I was like, hey, listen, you've got highly unfavorable genes for obesity. Right? Let's look at your blood work to see if you're healthy, right? Hey, your triglycerides look great, all these kind of things. So we put her on these three, we call it a health profiling program. Started a health profiling program, and she lost 25 pounds of fat in 1 month, gained 11 pounds of muscle. Now, again, her normal weight didn't change, but her body composition completely was reversing. So again, that weight on the scale, didn't fluctuate, but the way her body was working was completely changed. So about in 1 month, about 23 pounds of fat, and then gained 10 pounds of muscle.
Wow, that's crazy. How have you just found it, just being an athlete yourself and knowing and going through that, especially a professional athlete, how have you tailored knowing that and knowing what you do to work out and exercise and all that into your program?
Oh, it's the intensity of the program, right? As an athlete, we are dialed into micro units for everything. right? Like, hey, I can't lose 1 pound. Like for me, like I lost 7 pounds during football camp, which is unacceptable for my position and defense. I'm gonna get plowed over. So understanding like, hey, like I've got to put some more weight back on, whether that's water weight or what have you. I was drinking like coconut oil during practice just to keep weight on. But yeah, this is a side story. But understanding how far we have to micro tune our life just to get to where we want to be. And these genetic tests give us that option. And that's, you know, again, like with our workouts, with diet, with sleep, with stressors, with all these other things, we're able to fine tune and actually understand what a full health profile or a full spectrum of health actually means. It's not a unit on a scale. It's all these different measurements put together.
What's the biggest challenges you faced building this program and getting clientele and just starting kind of almost from the, you know, ground up? People don't really talk about genetic testing a lot. So what has been your biggest challenge so far?
It's that there's always like these different phases of new things coming out, right? You have like innovators, early adopters, you know, now I'm on the game train, and then late adopters. I told you, like, when I started my first supplement store and I was selling genetic tests, it was way over everyone's head. It's still kind of like that, right? So when I'm telling, hey, people, genetic testing, they're like, oh, that's cool, but I mean, I don't understand how this would really benefit me at all. And I understand, like, and everyone understands it's the future of what's happening, but, you know, people are spending, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars a year on workout programs or diets or supplementation or red light therapy, all this BS. And they're like, well, I'm still not even any better than I was last year. So it's like, well, why not try this new way of understanding that we're all a little bit different?
Yeah, of course. So obviously you have the Health and High, what's it called? Health and High podcast?
Health or high water.
Health after high water. Sorry. My brain's been all over today. What do you talk a lot about? Obviously, the genetic testing on that podcast, but what other topics do you bring to the conversation to get more people kind of tuned into your training program, or what they should be doing instead? Everything in the general sense.
So we try to have people on each spectrum of health, right? Like we had on today a clinical dietitian. We have on naturopaths. We have on pelvic floor specialists. We try to fit any little piece of that puzzle that we can, that we're not niche or specialized in, to come on to talk about that. And we were one of the first people in Denver to have a female pelvic floor specialist as two dudes. She was like, "You really want like me on to talk?" I was like, "Yeah, let's talk." But yeah, I mean, just we try to utilize that as best we can for just understanding each portion of that genetic test a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously you've chose, you know, Fan Day Nation to kind of be a part of your success story as well as ours. So why did you choose us? Why do you want to shout us out or be our partner, or however much you want to get involved or a little bit?
As you know, starting a business, especially the worst time in American history to statistically start a business, is not the best time to be doing what I'm doing. So I've had to do a ton of different routes to just be financially well enough off to be still in business. And I've been in senior care. We do a senior boxing class that's really been popping off. I do lectures, all these different avenues. They take up time. Right, I'm able to stay afloat. I'm able to support my dream. I'm able to do what I want to do, but I've had to put the genetic testing kind of on the back burner, and that's where I want to take it. So I'm in a position now where I have a tiny bit of money, where I'm ready to reinvest and start putting the genetic test back on the forefront of what I'm doing, because I know it's going to make a huge difference. So I think that your guys' audience is probably one of the better audiences to market this, especially for athletes. Especially in the injury prevention range. My gosh, if I had this as a pro athlete to understand, hey, listen, you've got a 70% risk for an ACL tear. It's like, oh, I'm going to focus on that. Oh, but yeah, it seems like your guys' demographic is perfect for what I'm trying to relaunch here.
Yeah. Can we go back to that injury prevention? I myself have torn both my ACLs, both my meniscuses. So I want to know how it can stop it from going any further, because all doctors have said, it's going to happen again and again, just because that's just how your knees are. So what tips would you give for injury preventions for anybody who's going through what I've been through?
So, first is understanding about like that our genetics are a huge proponent of if we get hurt, if we get re-injured, weaknesses, those kind of things. And there's a genetic marker called COL5A1, and there's a few different versions of that have direct correlations with ACL tears, Achilles ruptures, shoulder tears, tendinopathy. So understanding that information, if you do have those unfavorable indicators, is like, okay, listen, so instead of us, maybe doing 5 days a week of strength training, we're doing 2 days of what we've coined as prehab, right? So what we're going to do is if you do have like COL5A1 highlight, it's like, all right, today we're going to do glute bridges, and we're going to make sure that we're going to have emphasis on the knee strength. We're going to, all these different kinds of like mixing kind of PT with workouts to make sure that we're turning your weakness into a strength and making everything around that knee as strong as it possibly can be to avoid further injury down the road.
Okay, awesome. Maybe I'll have to look into that, because I can't have this happen again. It's taken over my whole life, it feels like.
No, and you just like live at PT, and it always hurts, and like you can't get to your goals. Yeah, well, one of these days, let me take you through our genetic test and show you kind of like what it looks like, how much detail we get into, the science behind it, and what I would do for someone like you if we did have some unfavorable genes for that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Couple more questions for you real quick. Just how do you obviously have a lot of hats going on, a lot in your life. How do you balance all that, and how do you wear each hat separately, or try to even mesh them together sometimes, because your things in your life will overlap and do. So what's that balance like?
I've always been pretty good about just prioritizing right. I know this sounds really crazy. The reason I'm cooking and getting that ready is like to meal prep every day. I'm up at 3:30. I get my breakfast cooked, get everything packed, try to get the gym at a reasonable time, and then I just prioritize. Like, hey, listen, I've got A, B, and C to do today. I've got these kind of meetings, and I can fit this in. This is where these are the limits. So for me, it's about just prioritization, and as well as those days that it's not easy, leaning on those people that make your day. Like our senior classes, some of these seniors, just like a quick smile just like makes it easy. It's like, oh well, maybe it's not as stressful as we think it is.
Yeah, of course. And my last question for you is, how do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, that's a great question. I would love it if everyone was like standing around, maybe cracking a drink or two, because I don't want to be too
absolutely.
like celebrate life. If they said I was a hard worker and a good man, that's about as best as you can ask for.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got for you. Thanks so much